the screen. So we know then that the group number is what tells you the amount of electrons in the outer shell, and we know that the period is what tells you how many shells it's got. But once we realize that the periodic table is simply a table of all the different possible atoms up to 118 different atoms, and the only thing that determines from one atom to another is just number of protons, or one element to another is the number of protons, then the simplest element would be hydrogen because it's got one proton. The next element would have two protons, and well, we'd call it helium. But like I say, it's beside the point what the name of it is. They had to give it a name. They wanted to give it a name, but they could have just left it as atom number 2 and atom number 1. So now it turns out that for whatever reason, the first shell of electrons can only hold 2 electrons. So they decided that the rho is going to be the amount of it is going to represent how many shells of electrons they have. So so they said, right, well, these two are the only elements with only one shell, because the first shell can only have 2 electrons. And so the third atom would be on the second row, second period, and it would have 3 protons, 3 electrons, and it would be in group 1 because we just added a new shell, which means it's only got 1 electron and that shell. So the group is always telling you the number of electrons in the outer shell. The period is telling you the number of shells in total, right? And as you fill up the shells, you start a new shell or a new period. So this table is arranged in that way because, I'm telling a slight lie. I said that they decided that the rows are going to represent the electrons. Actually, not that. They didn't really fully understand it. They constructed a periodic table based on how elements behave, and later on they determined, and it tweaked it a little bit, but later on they determined that, it just so happens that is actually how they're constructed as well. So that's that. So yeah, that's basically the groups and the periods. And one thing to emphasize here is whatever element, let's say aluminium, every single aluminium atom will have 13 protons. If I change the number of protons, it just simply will not be aluminium anymore. And if I change the number of neutrons, it stays aluminium. If I change the number of electrons, it stays aluminium. It's only the protons that determine what element it is.